At a swamp forest, something glowed brightly. It came from a chunk of wood. In that wood is an organism. It was a soft, yellow, slug-like creature, round and squishy, with big, bulging eye on top of its body. It was disoriented on where it was. This organism remembered that he was scrolling through his phone reading manga in bed, and he unknowingly fell asleep. He panicked when he realized that he suddenly died and came to another world. He decided not to think much of it, since there were some events like this, and everyone would soon accept the setting pretty quickly. He decided to be practical and confirm its surroundings first and think about how to survive. He kept shouting if anyone was there, but seeing the creepy red eyes glaring at him, he knew it was better to be quiet. There were bugs and miasma everywhere, and it was all damp like the humid season. And unexpectedly, he felt really comfortable. He came to his senses since he knew it wasn't the time to enjoy that. He was curious what exactly he reincarnated into. He felt like he's just a big lump. Suddenly, a screen appeared. It showed that he's a slime mold level 1, a weak creature, with a decomposer trait. Its health points were too low, so autophagy was initiated. He was told to eat or hibernate immediately. He was taking in the fact that he reincarnated as a slime mold, and he's losing health points. If he doesn't eat soon, he's gonna die. He immediately looked around to search for something edible, but he remembered his trait, decomposer. Slime molds are decomposers. They could eat wood. He tried that. Now he knew how slime molds eat. When he thought of the command to eat, his body automatically spread out to wrap around the target. The taste was surprisingly acceptable for him. He compared it to a soggy biscuit. 15 minutes later, he already made a dent on the chunk of tree. Our boy burped because he's full. He was alerted that experience points to level up were met, so his level increased to level 2 and his health points became full, 35 out of 35. He was also alerted that no experience points would be gained from decomposing dead wood for 1 hour. He also gained 1 skill enhancement point. The available skills to enhance were Decompose at level 6 and Pulsation at level 2. He knew what Decompose skill was, but he had no idea what the hell Pulsation was. He decided to add the point there to see what it does. It became level 3 and got activated. He learned that it means making the protoplasm inside him flow back and forth, achieving the effect of displacement. It was truly magical. Just activating the skill transmits the knowledge automatically into his brain, although he knew that he doesn't seem to have a brain anymore. Since eating wood won't grant him experience points for a while, he decided to explore. To him, it felt so magical that he could change his body shape at will. He noticed a mushroom nearby. When humans eat random things, they could end up in a coffin, but for him, a slime mold, he could tell this mushroom would be a delicacy. He slowly finds the shortest path and scoots over. Although slime molds move slowly, scientists found through maze experiments that no matter how complex the maze, slime molds can find the fastest path to the destination. Even more surprisingly, a slime mold experiment simulates the Tokyo subway. The slime mold completed in just 26 hours, a route that human engineers took 10 years to plan, and it was more efficient. He continued to crawl towards the mushroom, and eventually, he reached it and wrapped his body all around it. Now, it was time for him to eat. This moment for him was depicted as lovers finally meeting face to face after dating online for so long. The mushroom was represented by a woman who asked if he's tough guy bang bang. He confidently replied yes. She faced him, and he realized that she's a toxic woman, and he got scammed. In short, the system alerted the slime mold that it was invaded by toxins. Nutrients were being consumed rapidly, so he was tasked to detoxify immediately. He was poisoned, so he immediately moved away from it. The system notified that decomposition failed. No experience points were gained. The toxin was eliminated from his body, and poison status was cleared. He lost body mass, and health points were decreased to 17 out of 17. That scared him to death. Luckily, he thought of cutting off a limb to survive, and it looked like a part of it was decomposed by him too. He decided to let it off for now. He told it to wait until General Slime returns to camp and regroups to fight again. He positioned himself on the dent in the chunk of the wood, and 15 minutes later, he made a deeper dent on the wood. He was full. The system alerted him that within the time limit, decomposing dead wood yields no experience. He was restored to optimal status 35 out of 35. He was glad to finally be back to his full health. He crawled away from the tree. His plan was to decompose a little bit each time, disconnect before fully poisoned, then come back to decompose dead wood to heal, and repeat the cycle. He called this Project Move Mountain. As long as there's enough time, he believed he could take it down. This encounter was depicted again as the online lovers finally meeting in person. The woman mushroom told him to give up already since it had been the 8th time. But this time, she was cuffed and got under arrest. In reality, slime mold conquered this mushroom. Decomposition was successful, and he gained experience. He also acquired poison resistance level 1. Now it made sense to him why he lasted longer and became more tolerant the last few times, but to his surprise, he didn't level up. He thought decomposing a mushroom would give a lot of experience, but it doesn't matter. In a damp place, the one thing not lacking was mushrooms. The system notified that decomposition was successful, and he gained experience points from it. And he leveled up to level 3. He also gained 0.5 skill enhancement points. He saw a straw pipe mushroom which was safe and non-toxic. Decomposition was successful, and that earned him enough points to upgrade to level 4. His poison resistance also increased to level 2, and he earned 0.5 skill enhancement points. He saw a monk's cap mushroom, highly toxic, but it gives lots of experience points though, it was spicy. He also gobbled up a lot more mushrooms. He reached level 5 and gained 0.4 skill enhancement points. He was notified that decomposing mushrooms within 24 hours would no longer yield experience points. His health points were full at 79 out of 79. Since he's full and had reached the limit, it was time for him to pack the rest of the mushrooms. While crawling on the way back, he happily sang how he's a little mushroom expert, wearing poisonous mushrooms on his body to serve as rations and to protect him. Just like he watched in the Animal World show when he was a kid, a crab uses sea anemones to drive away octopuses, so now he uses poisonous mushrooms to scare away monsters that want to eat him. He was proud of himself for solving his safety issues. Everything was going well until he saw something. Those hornets were carrying a chunk of meat. He got cautious and he hoped that the poisonous mushroom would scare them away. He tried his best to blend in the background. Unexpectedly, a tongue was wrapped around a giant hornet's body, and it got pulled into the frog's mouth. The slime mold was startled when he saw it happen. The giant hornets surrounded the frog. He watched them fight while trying his best to stay hidden. The giant hornets approached the frog, and stung and bit it. Although the giant hornet's individual strength can't compare to the frog, the swarm makes up for the gap with numbers. He thought of picking up some scraps from them. Logically, the experience from decomposing monster corpses should be much higher than decomposing dead wood and mushrooms. Those giant hornets worked together against the frog. Eventually, the frog counterattacked using an empowered tongue. Using its long tongue, the frog slapped all those giant hornets away. And then it gathered them into his mouth. The slime mold continued to watch. Suddenly, a shadow hovered above the frog. Before it noticed what creature it was, the snake-like creature had already eaten it. Blood splattered. In entirety, this creature was a bird with a snake as its tail, and it noticed the slime mold. With nothing else he could do, our MC just offered himself to it. It watched him intently, and then it looked at the sky. Then it jumped away. This wind caused damage to the slime mold, reducing his health points by 30. But after that, it was quiet. The night deepened. The slime mold settled on the chunk of wood. He made a hole and entered it, and then he covered that hole with the mushrooms. He trembled as he realized that he's at the bottom of the food chain. But fortunately, because he's at the bottom, the gap in food chain levels was too wide, so he didn't end up on that monster's menu. At this point, slime mold was already at level 5. His title is a weak creature, and his trait is decomposer. Health points are at 79 out of 79, and he has 13 remaining skill points. His skills are decomposition skill at level 6, pulsation at level 3, and poison resistance at level 2. Even leveling up 4 times in one night doesn't change the fact that he's a weak creature. As a slime mold, he wondered how he could survive and rise up in the days to come. He was exhausted and sleepy. He hoped that it was all a dream, and when he woke up, he'd be back in his blanket. Morning came. The mushroom that he used as cover started to melt from the acid. The acid dropped in him, causing him to lose some health points. He woke up from the pain that made him burst upwards. The system notified him of a new acquired skill called Burst Level 1. It stimulates cytoplasm in the body to flow in the same direction instantly, generating a powerful thrust. He can use it once every 5 minutes. The mushroom scattered when he suddenly burst upwards. He looked around to see who did that, and it was a snail who spat out acid liquor. It melted the mushroom, and then took a bite of it. The The slime mold was so angry at this stinking snail. It noticed him. He was furious that it stole his mushroom, but it made it worse that it dripped its saliva on his face, nearly disfiguring him. That to him was unforgivable. The snail communicated with him, but he simply told it to stop playing the victim. The snail looked dejected. Looking at it made him think that they're fellow sufferers wandering the world, and they were just but these trying to get a bite to eat. He started to consider that he must have been too unforgiving. He decided not to make things any harder for it. There were plenty of mushrooms anyway, so sharing a little with it doesn't matter. He encouraged it to eat it up. The snail happily gobbled the mushroom. The slime mold realized that the situation seemed familiar. It was a friendship born from a fight, a typical hot-blooded shonen manga trope. And he started fantasizing how they formed a party and increased their survivability. And that eventually, together, they changed class, went on an adventure, and their bond would have defeated a demon king. He realized that to survive and become stronger, companions were an indispensable existence. So he invited the snail to form a party so they can look out for each other in the future, and he'll make sure that it has enough mushrooms to eat. The snail looked confused. Unexpectedly, it tried to eat him. It shocked the hell out of him. He was able to step away, but he was injured, causing him to lose 12 health points. His health points dropped to 62 out of 79, and he complained that it hurts like hell. He realized that monsters in the other world don't care about feelings. In nature, there was only the simple relationship of eating or being eaten. He was fooled by its pitiful look. Although they were both low-level monsters, it seems its strength was above his. While it was eating, he took the chance to escape. But it noticed him and chased after him. He decided to use the remaining skill points and upgraded pulsation to level 4, and he ran with his full power. 3 minutes later, they were able to move a foot away from where they were, and the snail was closing in. Its speed was almost the same as the slime mold. It inhaled deeply. Then it spat out acid liquor. Slime mold took a direct hit. He lost 27 health points. His body was split. He realized that his consciousness stayed on the body that was a larger half, but he knew that there's something else to focus on. The snail approached him and opened its mouth, and it ate him. He split his body, and the smaller part escaped. The snail was ruthless, and all he could do was endure it. After the snail was done with that part, it came for him again. He grabbed the nearby mushroom. This snail lowers its drooling, tooth-filled mouth toward a small yellow slime mold. Instead of being eaten, he shoved the mushroom into its mouth using a burst. It choked on it. It tried to shake off the block, but in a few seconds it just dropped dead. The system notified that the target had been defeated, and experience points were gained, causing him to level up to level 6. He also acquired skill enhancement points 0.6. His strategy worked as he expected. He noticed that even though the snail has so many teeth, it insists on spitting acid to dissolve the mushroom before eating because it doesn't have poison resistance itself. Slime Mold rejoiced after successfully defeating the first monster after coming to that world. He was intrigued on what kind of surprise decomposing a monster would bring. He realized that the snail meat was slimy and kind of disgusting. But he knew better, so he pretended that it was like eating French cuisine, though it just made him vomit. The taste was so terrible. It was salty and sour, and the texture was like a thick snot, so it was disgusting to death. The system screen showed that the decomposition had been terminated, and he had not gained any experience points. He thought of just throwing it away, but it would be wasteful, especially when it was a victory that he risked his life to get in exchange. And if he doesn't get any stronger soon, he knew that reality would no longer allow him to be a picky eater. His option was to die, or to endure. He tried it again, and pretended to pinch his nose even if he doesn't have a nose anymore and down it in one gulp. It was so disgusting. But he finished it completely. He threw the shell away, the same time that he was notified of the experience points that he gained. Because of that, he leveled up to level 7, and he was restored to his optimal state. He couldn't believe he was restored to an optimal state because he felt even worse. He had 1.4 remaining skill enhancement points, and his upgradable skills were decomposition at level 6, pulsation at level 3, poison resistance at level 3, and burst level 1. He simplified those skills as decomposition means chowing down, pulsation is running away, poison resistance means tanking hits, and burst is also running away. He complained how there really wasn't a single skill used for attacking, but he knew complaining was useless. And also, he's aware that his strength wasn't enough. Even if he was given an attack skill, he wouldn't dare to provoke the predators. So he chose to upgrade pulsation. Pulsation leveled up to level 4. He immediately wanted to test how much faster he had gotten. In one movement, he covered a distance of 20 centimeters. It was indeed much faster. But 20 centimeters per second means that is 0.78 kilometers per hour, and that made him weep. 1 week later, he almost finished the trunk of the tree. Hiding was safe, but his resources were almost depleted. It was only enough for him to level up twice. He figured out the physical characteristics of the slime mold, and now he deemed that it was time for him to find a new base. He decided to resupply once more before setting off. By flattening the body and dispersing it into veins, he could traverse multiple directions simultaneously. The higher his health points, the more cytoplasm in his body, and the wider the range of exploration. He branched out like vines. In one area, the system notified him of his successful capture of 3 white fungus mushrooms, and it was stored in his body. On the opposite side, he captured 6 small straw mushrooms and stored them in his body. After mastering body control, things could be stored inside the body or decomposed while exploring, greatly increasing efficiency. In some other parts of his body, he proceeded with decomposition, and it turned out to be successful, earning him some experience points. His poison resistance increased to level 4, until he reached a target that couldn't be decomposed, and it hurt him. He was deducted 9 health points. He realized that it was that guy again. He was doused with acid liquor. Fortunately, his speed had increased. He only lost 7 health points. Suddenly, the snail showed up in front of him. He noticed how this snail was much faster than the previous ones, but he was confident that he wouldn't be hit again. Unfortunately, when it released acid liquor, slime mold was doused and lost 33 health points. The snail was relieved. It was caught off guard, though. Slime mold shoves a poisonous mushroom in its mouth. He revealed that he let it hit him on purpose. After knowing its weakness, taking care of it was as easy as turning over a hand. It proves the gap of intelligence. The snail struggled, but he didn't let it go. The poison was spreading on its body, and later on, the system notified that decomposition was successful and slime mold leveled up to level 10. Slime mold was uncomfortable, but he can't deny that the experience from decomposing the monster was really high. He continued to travel, but he saw a creature hiding. He assumed that it was the little snail again, but when it came out, it was actually a blade-legged centipede. It towered over slime mold. Seeing its blade legs, slime mold felt terrified. It crawled fast towards him. He tried to keep it away by waving mushrooms, but it just sliced those mushrooms. Slime mold realized that his move was useless against it. In a blink of an eye, the centipede strangled him and tried to bite him. The funny thing was, slime mold's body was immune to sharp blade attacks. To his surprise, experience points were delivered to his door, so he didn't hold back. He found another target, and another one. But it was a bee. It seems delicate and pretty, so he felt bad that he couldn't reach it. He saw a cockroach but decided to just forget about it. He continued happily while devouring the mushrooms on the way. At that point, he reached level 13 with health points of 157 out of 157. He had 0.1 remaining enhancement points. His skills are decomposition at level 6, pulsation at level 8, poison resistance at level 5, and burst at level 1. He realized that eating meat was different. The leveling speed was solid. He started to think that slime mold's characteristics weren't so bad, and suddenly, he could feel that he could do it again. Slime mold started thinking of changing his menu. He particularly wanted to try frog legs. Following that logic, as long as he survives the hardest 0 to 1 stage, the 1 to 100 process after that would be a snowball rolling. His growth would become unstoppable, and ruling the other world would be just around the corner. In his path, he noticed another pool of water. He realized how the mangrove forests were full of water pools everywhere. That also led him to think that there should be a lot of resources underwater. It made him curious if he could go explore inside the water, so he tried it. He was surprised when he became so bloated that he felt like he's going to explode. The slime mold reacts to its surroundings, shrinking when it loses water and swelling when it absorbs it. Like a red blood cell placed in fresh water, its body expands uncontrollably, reminding it how fragile a single-celled life can be. His plan to explore the water world was set aside for now. Suddenly, something emerged from the water. He was spooked when he saw a crab. The crab lies low in the water, eyes twitching as bubbles spill from its mouth. Slime mold already thought of how tasty it was. He got excited at the thought of those plump, bouncy, meaty claws and delicious crab roe. He could say that this is normal food. He was glad to finally treat himself after eating so many bugs. He invited him to come to him. The crab moved to the rock at the center of the pool. It was wary of him. He realized that the crab wasn't falling for his tricks, so he decided not to waste any more time with it. Risking entering the water just for a bite wasn't worth it. He knew that there was another way to eat it, like decomposing poisonous mushrooms into liquid and pouring it into the water. Unexpectedly, the crab used bubble barrage. It directly hit the slime mold. The attack pierced through its body. The slime mold turned pale after seeing the hole in its body from the water gun attack. Not a moment passed and the crab unleashed more attacks. He rushed and hid behind the tree. He realized that the guy's water gun could actually damage him. Obviously, its strength was a tier above the bugs that he met before. If he goes out, he would be an instant target, so he decided to wait. It would be a battle of patience. The crab went back to the water. He peeked and assumed that it gave up already. But to his surprise, it went to the shore. It moved fast. As it dashed towards him, he got alarmed. When he realized that it really plans to eat him, he hurriedly climbed the tree. It left him speechless when he became a prey in an instant. After climbing the tree to widen the distance, he thought of using the trunk to run circles around it. That way, he won't be hit with the water gun. But on the trunk of a tree, he met another creature. It scared him at first, but after learning that it was just a spider, he told it to move. But it didn't. He started to get annoyed. He advised this spider to not be ungrateful and move. He shared that he had eaten plenty of bugs like it. The spider fought back. It used arachnid slash and cuts off a part of the slime mold's body. He was surprised because he thought he was immune to blade attacks. He lost 30 health points from that. The spider monster was at level 16, and its technique, Way of the Sword, was at level 8. While he was distracted, a water gun was shot towards him. It damaged him, making him lose 17 health points. At this point, he had the spider in front and the crab behind. He felt unfortunate. He was pushed into a corner again. The crab unleashed a bubble barrage attack, also known as a water gun. The slime mold deformed itself so it hit the spider instead, causing it to lose a limb. The spider was stunned. It became furious and attacked the crab. It used arachnid silk shot, followed by arachnid slash. But the crab countered the attack using crustacean carapace skill, and fought back using crustacean clamp, while the spider used arachnid silk control. The crab was immobilized. Slime mold's plan to shift aggro, driving the tiger to swallow the wolf, had succeeded. The crab tries to break free. The spider targeted its eyes, but at the last minute, it was able to shove it away. The impact was so powerful that it made the spider's limb shake. The crab kept hitting the spider. The spider created distance, while wrapping the crab's claw in its web. It surrounded the crab while continuously using arachnid silk control. The crab was fully immobilized, and the spider was proud of its work. Slime mold didn't expect the spider to turn the tables. The spider noticed something weird from the crab. The bubbles from its mouth moved. A surge of water came out of it. The crab was in frenzy mode. It spinned while shooting water guns, and it chopped the spider's body. Its attack was everywhere. Its survival instincts had been triggered. Even slime mold was almost hit. Eventually, the water gun had died down. The spider in front of it was cut into many pieces. Slime mold peeked to check if it was done spraying. He slowly approached it. He noticed how the crab became weak after spraying everywhere. Slime mold wondered how he should end it. If he covers its mouth, it is like he's delivering himself to be eaten. If he used poison mushrooms, he won't be able to pry its mouth open once it closes. If he doesn't finish it off quickly, it would even be harder to deal with it once it recovers. He saw a rock nearby. He stored the stone into his slime mold space. It came as a surprise when he was informed that he doesn't have sufficient space. He remembered that the size of the internal space was determined by health points. He lost a lot of his body earlier, plus the stone was too big. He decided to spit out all the mushrooms first, and he successfully stored the stone. He was shocked with the weight. It was so heavy. The crab's eyes turned to him when he said that he was there to collect it. He jumped from a branch with that stone in his body. Seeing that he wanted to hurt him, the crab spat out water. It still wants to struggle. But the rock was coming closer, and it got squashed. With that, the fight was over. And the winner of this three-way melee was Slime Mold. He gained experience points that made him level up to level 14. He proudly declared himself the victor. Then, it was time for him to feast. He settled in a new trunk. And there, he set the crab and the spider. He happily digs in. First, he chewed at the claw. He was happy at how delicious it tasted, especially that at first he was either eating wood that tasted like moldy biscuits or snot like snails and bugs with all sorts of weird flavors. Finally, it was his first time tasting delicious food since reincarnation. It made him cry. He realized that good food could really heal emotional trauma. He became determined to survive in that world because of the delicious food waiting for him ahead. He didn't want to waste a single bit, so he finished it all. Later that day, he was satisfied and full. He's now at level 14 with 168 out of 168 health points. He has 0.6 remaining skill enhancement. His skills are decomposition at level 6, pulsation at level 8, poison resistance at level 5, and burst at level 1. Now that he's full and hydrated, it was time to do something. He targeted a rock and forced some power out of his body. He tried so hard that he deforms his body, but nothing came out. He was trying to do the bubble barrage of the crab. Logically, the crab was just forcing the water out of its body to attack, so he reasoned that if a crab could spray, a slime mold could do it too. His body was strained from the force to make it come out, but it looked like he just pooped. He was frustrated that it came out from his behind. He kept trying. He squeezed until his body went loose, but he still couldn't control the direction that it came out. On top of that, what came out doesn't even have a tiny bit of power. It made him furious. That he unexpectedly activated burst level 1. He was able to hit the rock. Then, the system notified him that the burst evolved into cytoplasm spray. Cytoplasm spray level 1 instantly mobilizes internal cytoplasm to generate a powerful impulse force, shooting the cytoplasm out of the body. He remembered that there used to be a 5-minute time limit before, but now it is gone. So he went into frenzy mode and sprayed everywhere. He was elated that his skill doesn't require cooldown. Since he kept spraying, he was notified that he met the proficiency needed and his skill level increased to level 2. But at that point, he looked withered. He realized that the cost of the skill was his health points. Every shot consumes his health points. His health was so low that autophagy was initiated. He was advised to eat or sleep as soon as possible. He roughly figured out the rules of the skills. As a slime mold, he had no magic. The cytoplasm in his body was his combat resource. All skills could be developed around the properties of the slime mold itself, which led him to wonder if it means that he is destined to have no connection with magic spells. He finds that disappointing. The only way he has now was to decompose and absorb more things. He knew that growing his body properly was the king's path. Then he had a thought. Since eating things grows the body, he wondered what would happen if he eats his body directly. He found a part of him that had been cut off. He didn't realize that the chunk of him that was cut off earlier was that big. He tested if he could take it back. Suddenly, strange memories flowed through his brain, even though he doesn't have a brain. The memory started when the chunk fell while he was on the branch of a tree. Then this chunk of him received notifications that it was experiencing a split body, and it recovered health points from it. And later on, it was notified that the current health points were full, and the max health points was increased by 30. Slime Mold realized that even though the disconnected body parts don't have autonomous consciousness, they could still perform decomposition on their own. When he performed reclamation on them, he could obtain the experience points and health points they accumulated. He was pleased to have found this bug. He planned to split his body into several parts and send them out to work, and then use reclamation after a certain amount of time. It would turn one mouth to in mouths. That would make his leveling efficiency increase drastically. He used division to remove a chunk of himself. One of the things he noticed was that whether it's the main body or the split body, as long as health points were below 30, it would enter the autophagy state. At the moment, his max health points is 198, so as long as there's enough food, he could have as many split bodies he wants. A chunk of him that was about to split pierced him at the center. Before, it was removed from the main body. He was surprised that his theory worked. Our boy grinned as he might have just learned Shadow Clone from Naruto. With that, he created more. One of his chunks was assigned to a withered log. 2 others were in charge of the mushroom nearby. Slime Mold was now at level 14, with health points of 198 out of 198. He has 0.6 remaining skill points. His skills were decomposition at level 6, pulsation at level 8, poison resistance at level 4, and cytoplasm spray at level 2. Now that his clones were arranged, he'll decompose the remaining spider meat to restore himself to peak condition. After all, when out hunting, safety comes first. After getting more familiar with the slime mold body, he felt like he became terrifyingly stronger. He was immune to normal pierce and normal slash attacks. With an advanced slash, he could get, but he could attach his body, so basically, he's immune too. Now he could say that even powerful physical attacks could hardly pose a threat to him anymore. The only thing he's worried about are magic attacks, but so far he hasn't encountered any. He wondered if it was because his circle was so small, or perhaps the other world was basically a different version of the animal world. The water calms, but bubbles rise near the surface. Two separate chunks of slime mold float there, wobbling slightly as something stirs beneath the water. Suddenly, a claw gripped the slime mold. Apparently there were crabs in that pool of water. They got out of the water carrying a chunk of slime mold, and they followed a trail of slime mold until they noticed something. Slime mold pushed a tree, and it fell over them. Just like that, he caught 6 demon crabs. This helped him level up to level 15. He finished decomposing them and restored himself to peak condition. He targeted the rock again, and used a plasmodial barrage. He had this mental image as a lone gunslinger, cloaked in dark robes, calmly aiming a massive weapon. He sprayed on the rock, and reached the proficiency needed. His cytoplasm increased to level 6. After 2 days, he entered an autophagy state. This was caused by his training, which improved his power and accuracy. His limit at full stats was 30 shots. He thought of a way to become stronger. He took a mushroom and a stone to add spice to the move. He wrapped poisonous mushrooms and shot them, which could poison a target from a distance. By the same logic, if he wraps stones and shoots them, he could increase physical damage. He tested that on his practice target, and it worked. Confidence surges through him. The slime mold narrows its eye. Self-assured now, fully convinced of its own cleverness. Suddenly, he heard a sound coming from the tree hollow. At first, he thought it was a bird, but the creatures were glowing like a firefly. He climbed the tree. His curiosity got ahead of him. When he reached the hollow of the tree, he was surprised to see a glowing bird. It was exactly what he was thinking of earlier. He scurried away after seeing a monster that could use magic. He retreated as quickly as he could. The bird watched him, and then it used symbiotic scrying. That bird shares its vision with a pink-haired human. She was with a team of adventurers. The blonde, middle-aged man asked if she found something. She replied no, but she noticed a slightly strange little monster. The magician on the party finds it strange that they haven't encountered a single high-level monster on the road. The pink-haired girl rode an animal that looked like a bear, which she called Little Steelback. She ordered it to sniff carefully and lead them to the way out. Magic communication can't reach their guildmaster as if everything had been cut off. Meanwhile, Slime Mold sensed that the animal noticed him, so he ran as fast as he could because he knew he couldn't mess with that guy, but he had no idea where to go. He thought of crossing the river and hiding there to be safe, but he doesn't know how he'll cross it. He applied the momentum theorem, and while midair, he activated Plasmodial Barrage. He flopped to the other side, losing him 80 health points. He kept going as fast as he could. When he was far and exhausted enough, he stopped. The encounter scared him to death. He decided to eat a branch to replenish his energy. Although he's strong against low-level monsters, facing an opponent 1 rank higher could instantly kill him. Suddenly, he felt an ominous presence. He was terrified that he was chased there. The oppressive feeling was even more terrifying than that snake crane monster. He wondered what the owl was, but he realized it wasn't the owl. A long, severed body part lies on the ground, its surface lined with thick, overlapping ridges. The end is scorched and still burning, heat rising as it twitches faintly among the broken wood. It crushed the trees. He was dumbfounded when he saw a finger. He thought of it as a golden finger. This guy was dreaming of having Sukuna's finger. Since his intuition was telling him that as long as he decomposes and absorbs that high-level magic beast's finger, not only will he bridge several gaps in strength instantly, he might even evolve because of it. He got closer to it. Once on top of it, he started dissolution. His body was spread out, and it started to get to work. However, the system notified me that decomposition failed because the skill level was too low or the target level gap was too large. It triggered inviolability, thus, the cells suffered backlash. He continuously lost health points, so he activated an autotomy which split his body and propelled him away from that body. He landed on the branch nearby and started eating that. He was so annoyed at what happened. If he knew this, he would have used all his enhancement points there first. A top-tier material was right in front of his eyes, but he can't decompose it. He compared the feeling to a eunuch visiting a brothel. The target was also so big. His internal slime mold space couldn't fit it, so he couldn't take it away even if he wanted to. He kept thinking what he should do. He considered continuing to continue leveling up first, max out decomposition, and come back there. He felt the tremor and thought it was an earthquake. The ground beneath him had formed cracks. Suddenly, it opened up, making the finger and the surrounding trees fell. He immediately used plasmodial barrage to get away. He landed on another tree, but it was also affected. He knew he wouldn't be able to get away. After swallowing up some trees, the ground started to close. Fortunately, it stopped, because if not, he was definitely going to go in there since he was so close. That experience made him tear up as he expressed how scary the outside world is. The further out he goes, the more insignificant he feels. He realized that he couldn't be arrogant anymore. His only life now was to obediently hide, to decompose and farm. Little did he know that underground there were eggs and different treasures. The finger fell far deeper. It was surrounded by sharp spikes like it was inside of a mouth. A violent impact tears through it. Thanks for watching, bros. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to drop a like and hit subscribe so you never miss the next chapter we upload here on Manhwa Updater. New episodes from the main Manhwa dealer channel will always land here every week, so stick around and stay updated. And hey, if you want more fire stories, check out the latest upload on the main channel right after this. As always, stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.